Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Elizabeth Elenor, and happy New Year. It's exciting. This is my first day back. I actually had a little bit of the flu while I was away, so my throat is a little bit croaky. But just got it. Just when was it? I think it was last week. I was in bed all day for a whole day, just exhausted, and it wasn't anything other than the flu. I did check. But happy 2023. I'm really excited about this year. I feel like this year is going to be a huge year for Women of Light. For anyone that's ready to support themselves in creation and raising their vibration and moving into a higher frequency and changing their patterns and creating a structure and moving into living the life that they love, then this is the year for you, because this year is going to be massive. And I had an amazing 3 weeks off, and so excited to jump in and really take on 2023 and to start it right, because we tend to, and this is why I wanted to talk about the power of the ego today, because we tend to start off the year and go, yeah, this is what I want to create, and these are the things that I did or didn't do in the year prior, and so I'm going to do this and this. And before we know it, sometimes by before the end of January, sometimes for some people, but others, if do you hold on to your dreams and your visions the whole way through and create everything? I'd love to. I see that I've got quite a few people on here watching. Where are you at when it comes to New Year's resolutions or creating and choices and really sticking to them and having them created by the end of the year? Because often we get to March, right, and they're blowing out the window because we haven't been focused, and our ego, or I actually used to have a problem with saying the word ego because it's got so many bad connotations to it. It's such a it's such a weighted word. Ego is such a weighted word. And this year, by the way, is my 25th year of being a healer and mentor in this realm, in the energetic space. 25 years ago was when I woke up to energy and vibration and other realms and all that sort of stuff. This year I've decided, because it's my 25th year, I really want to share a lot of my story, because I am going to be writing a book about it. The way I woke up, the stories, I had 3 shooting stars when I was freaking out that I was working for the wrong side. Like, I've had some really, really crazy experiences, and I want to share with you this year more about my journey and why I can do what I do, and how I support women to step into that power themselves, into their intuitive nature, their genius, and really, really living in the life that they love and creating that space for themselves. But I want to ask you, throw in the comments, have you found that New Year's resolutions work for you? Do you go, this is what I want to create this year, and stick to it? Or do you find that you get distracted in some way? Because the ego has got a bad rap, and the reason I was talking about 25 years is I've watched this evolution in spirituality, in this realm, in this collective, of how the ego is being seen. And like the ego, it's was a dirty word for a long time. It was something that was seen as a bad thing. But actually the ego is us here, our physicality. we are, you know, we are this collective, this spiritual being that's you know, got this creative spirit, and we choose to experience ourselves as an individual. So we come down, you know, this is a premise, right? We come down and we're birthed, and here we are, and we're named. My name is Elizabeth, and you know, whatever your name is what you classify as your individual. And in that individuation, we get a mind that is created in, you know, like an ego. We see ourselves as an individual, or that mind becomes accustomed to the fact that we are an individual having an experience here on the planet. And in that process, we forget, 0 to 7, we actually forget what it is like to be the creative spirit, that is who we are. And we start just identifying with this physical being. And that is the ego holding on to, I'm physical, I'm born, so therefore I can die, and I need to do everything I can to stay safe and survive. So through our younger years, when that ego is developed by experiences that start happening in our life, right? And when something happens to us that our ego thinks potentially is something we won't survive, we create a dysfunctional formation. We create a pattern or a structure to and develop a label around that particular thing. For example, we're enjoying exploring and being curious and being young and vibrant and, you know, living our best life, because that's what you're doing when you're a little kid, little girl, and you go to do something. Maybe you want an extra cookie, or, you know, you're you know, going to explore something and it's dangerous, but you don't know that. Or, you know, like for some reason you're not allowed to have another cookie or whatever it might be, and you get smacked, or you get ridiculed, or you get you know, put down in some way in your, you know, you realize, oh, I'm doing something wrong, right? I'm doing something wrong. And so therefore you pull your energy in and assess, make this assessment, or the ego makes an assessment, I'm not good enough to have that thing, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy of having that. I don't belong here. Whatever it might be that you create as a label, that then becomes a neural pathway within your brain, right? The wires within the neurons within your body, in your brain, wire together that this is what my response is to keep me alive, because you survived that, right? You survived that experience, and so you, for that experience, if something happens like that again, you then have wired together that you aren't good enough for that, regardless of whatever it is, whatever happens from that moment on, especially if it's a repetitive pattern in your life. You know, like even if you grew up in a great family, you would have got, don't do that, don't do this, because I said so, don't touch this, do as you're told, be a good girl, all of those things, right? From a healthy family, you can even have, like, that's what happens. We become an individual. And we start defining our life with all of these conditions in them. And so that becomes our structure. So here we are growing up, and we're like, this is what I want to create this year. I want to, you know, travel the world, or I want to go on holidays, you know, twice this year. I want to, you know, get healthier. That's a big one for a lot of people in the start of the year, right? I want to live out, you know, like live in a thinner body. I want to start a new profession this year, or whatever it might be. And those neural pathways from our childhood come into play. That's our ego, and it's so conditioned within us that we aren't even aware that it's happening anymore. So here we are. I'd love for you to put in the chat what's relating. If this is really relating to you, throw it in the chat. I'm watching on my phone so that I can actually see these, because normally I can't. And I'd love to see what's relating to you when it comes to there, I had to press the button. Sorry, I didn't see everyone. Good morning, Nicolette. So lovely to have you. Hey, Sue. Lovely to have you here. Marianne's. Hey, Sylvia. Lovely to have you here. It's really interesting when we go, this is what we want to create, right? And we have all of these conditions come up that we're not even aware of anymore, because there's silent instructions. And I want to share, the reason I said I wanted to talk about the power of the ego is because I've just had a massive one myself. And if you've been following me for a little while, you'll know that I'm now a certified magnetic mind coach, and I help women in particular, I help some men with a process called recoding. So I support people to look at what it is that they want to create, where they're at now, and what's getting in the way from actually creating that. And my whole life has changed since this. Now, I've been a healer for 25 years, right? And I've had a big journey. And for 7 years, I was doing past life regression and stripping a lot of, you know, my psyche, the ego that was holding me back. You know, very, very quiet, very, very unconfident, shy woman. You know, my dysfunctional patterns are, you know, I don't belong, I'm incapable. They're two of my major ones. And you know, all of this stripping, I've spent a lot of time in different realms, right? God, excuse me. Working in different multidimensional aspects of myself and others. You know, I started doing past life regression with people. I moved that, evolved it into multidimensional process, because it wasn't just past lives that we were working with. And all of that was, you know, a lot of stripping and creating ourselves, but it was a lot slower than what I've learnt now. This is learning, you know, at the ancient wisdom of alchemy. It's learning about structure and how to, you know, there's different structures that we can be in. We can be in you know, a pattern of being really stuck, or feeling like we're oscillating and like we're doing this yo-yo thing, which is most people. Or we're in a flow structure. And so I work with women to get them out of stuck and oscillating and into that flow structure, right? And then we clear and recode from the superconscious, which is another aspect of ourselves. That's that creative part of ourselves that is living in, you know, in us and outside of us, you know, like that higher aspect of ourselves that is created and part of the all, right? The collective that we're all part of, quantum field, you could say. What I'm doing now, this last year, you know, moved to a beautiful house, living in 3 split levels at the moment. You should see my bathroom. One of my bathrooms, got 3. Met a beautiful, beautiful man, my life partner, you know. His last name's Makepeace, like at the beach, you know, live at the beach, living a healthy life, like 6-figure income, all of these things that last year was just like an explosion with this work that I'm doing. And yet I know that I'm here to create more. So I'm here to create a movement, and that's what this year is all about for me, is Women of Light to be a proper worldwide movement. Let's change the world. Let's get women to really shine their light, because we are the key. We have such big hearts. We've got such a creative spirit, and we are so nurturing that when we are in our element, when we are in our our essence, our true nature, we can hold space for men to be, you know, who they are, that the warriors that they are, and you know, the protectors of our reality, you know, like we are the nurturers of our children and bringing up the next generation. We are, you know, the priestesses that are creating heaven on earth. You know, we have this ability when we can really, really tap into who we are. So I've got these big dreams, right? And I've got my current reality where all this stuff had shifted in my current reality and my identity, right? But I had this thing, right? I've had this oscillating pattern with my finances, with money. And I want to, you know, if you've known me for a while, you know that I'm completely transparent whether I'm on social media or in real life. And so I've had this oscillating pattern with money, right? Make money, money goes. Make money, money goes. And so I've had this thing happening, and this is still to do with the ego, and I want you to really listen to this because it's extremely powerful. We moved into this house, and it's $1.1 million house, right? And we're renting. I've just moved in with my life partner. We're seeing how we can work together, and it's going beautiful. I'm looking out at a mountain right now, right? I'm on the 3rd level of the house. It's stunning. It's a stunning house. We're right near the beach. We can't see the beach, but we can hear it sometimes. We can walk the dogs to the beach. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. We've got black butt forest behind us. So, you know, like goes on to a reserve. The trees and the birds are stunning. So I'm living an amazing life. And when we moved in, and actually it's been happening for a while, I damaged my shoulder about a year ago, and that's all sorted now, right? But in the process, that was aching, and there was a lot of crap around that, and I was in the old system, the old spiritual beliefs. Money going down and my shoulder, I believed that was the universe telling me that I can't be with Tim. Don't be with Tim because he's not the right person for you. And that's another story in itself, but I'm just going to share with you that through the process of staying with him, I recognized that because that was one of the last things for me to be working with, is to be truly honored as a woman and unconditionally loved for who I am, warts and all, like cellulite and all that crap. to be truly loved as deeply as Tim loves me was really, really challenging from where I came from, right? Came from a very dysfunctional family, not a lot of love in my family, right? Definitely not expressed, blah, 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 right? So even that was me. I had to recognize that my ego was so powerful that my ego was not letting me have the love that I deserved, have that depth of love. And when I recognized that, that's when my shoulders started fixing, and I'm going to Pilates, and it's all, look at that, I can do all sorts of stuff with it, and it's fine. I want to share this one with you. So I have been having challenges with my hips and my legs and aching in my body, to the point where when I was turning over in bed, I would wake up and have to brace myself so that I could roll over because the pain was so severe in my hips. Doing Pilates made a difference. I've been stretching. I've been putting oils on. I've been doing a ultrasonic and infrared thing that I've got. You name it, I've been doing it. There's this amazing guy, for anyone that's got any challenges with their body, on Instagram, called The Human Garage, and he works with the fascia in the body, right? So he teaches you how to shift things by moving your body and creating movement by releasing the fascia. Got a lot of results from that, right? But it kept on coming back. On the weekend, not on the weekend, I think it was while I was sick. The day after I was really sick, I was still a bit tired, so I stayed in bed and I did some recoding around my finances. And I'm going to be talking a lot about financial security with my clients, and I'll throw in some of the stuff here as well, because there's a big difference between the mentality of earning money and growing money. So anyway, I do this these two processes. One was a parts integration, what I call a parts integration, and one was a recode. All of the pain has gone out of my body. I have had it for 6 months. I'm talking my psoas and my uterus. I thought it was menopause. I thought it was my version of menopause. My ego would go into all of the physical limitations that it could be. Oh, it's my version of menopause. Oh, I'm not stretching enough. I'm not doing enough exercise. I'm eating the wrong food. Blah, 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 right? And I was trying all of the physical things. I even used oils for emotions, and it would work, but it would come back. I do these two processes, and what I discovered in one of them, the parts integration one, was that I had an old pattern from my mum way back in her lineage of not knowing how to be financially secure and how to be financially abundant. And so therefore there was confusion around how to do that. And I didn't realize, but the word confidence, being confident with money, I've always seen myself, well, since I've, been growing spiritually, seen myself as a confident woman. The word confident came up, and it wasn't even a big shift in like sometimes when I do recodes or a process, I feel it physically. and I get twitters in my body, I get twitches in my body where things are releasing. I had a few, not major, but by the end of the afternoon, I'm like, wow, I don't think my body's aching anymore. And I woke up the next morning and went, oh my gosh, like I can jump out of bed. I'm like, all the pain has gone out of my body. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because my ego, the power of the ego is so strong that my ego has identified that it's not safe to be seen at that extent, worldwide movement, to live the big dream that I've got of changing people's lives and waking women up to their divine wisdom, right? It wanted to keep me small, and so it's like I had another level. So here's the level of where, you know, like I'm living the dream right now. I could stop where I'm at if it was all about me. I'm living that. But because it's not all about me, I know that I'm here for more. That new part of me, that new identity of moving into that higher realm of, you know, expansion and being seen to that extent worldwide, and you know, supporting thousands of women, was too hard for my ego excuse me, to actually feel comfortable and safe with. And so my whole body was aching to keep me focused on something other than creating what I chose. And once I cleared it, you can't imagine how much pain I've been in. I was thinking I was getting old. Like all of these limitations, right? And because they're so subtle, I was even missing. I was missing that they were that subtle. And it's all gone. So the ego is here to hold you in a container from old patterns and old belief systems, potentially generations past, potentially from stuck in your DNA and holding you back in these old thought patterns of limitation. And they're so subtle that they distract you in making different decisions. I'm choosing this at the start of the year, and then you get to March and you go, you know what, I've changed my mind. I'm going to do this instead. And you think that you're creating. You think that you're in control and that you're saying that I'm tweaking it. I'm not going to do this now, I'm going to do this instead. And it's actually your ego, potentially, right? It's actually your ego keeping you at bay, keeping you in some sort of comfort zone so that you don't, that you survive. So the ego is something that we need to befriend. It's here to keep us alive, safe, and on the planet. You know, like it's here to for us to experience. We are the ego. However, all it knows is from its old data, from the past. It's a storage system of every single memory that's ever been, that you've ever had, and it's also from generations past. But when you can step into that higher aspect of yourself, the superconscious, there is all potential in there, and there is no limitation to that storage unit, right? If someone has created it here on the planet, then you've got the opportunity to do it too. When you step into that superconscious, and you bring that down and you stay focused on what it is you want to create, and you make your choices every day to stay in that focus. So that's my first reflection for 2023. Love to know in the comments what jumped out at you. Would love for you to reflect on if any of that resonated. Throw it in the comments if you got something out of that, some value. I just want to share with you that we have I have my first webinar this year on the 17th of January. It's a free webinar and it's called Quantum Goal Setting. So if you're interested in finding out how to create in the minute, so that you can create in the in the higher aspects and really shine your light, then just put yes please into the comments and we'll send you the link. I am so excited about 2023 and what it's got to offer us all this year. If you are ready to step up and shine your light and to be the creator that you are in all of your highest capacity, then throw in an emoji as well into the comments, because this year I'm here, my intention is to support you to stay focused on living the life that you love and living your dreams, right? Take care everyone, and I will catch you soon.